it is okay.
Okay?
It sounds okay. I have headphones in right now, actually, I can hear it.
Oh,
Weird.
You're doing the responsible audio engineer thing?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Interdimensional Roadtrip.
Yay!
We are leaving ComicPalooza 2016.
Get hype! Entering a barren wasteland.
Yeah, very soon.
The last restaurant in Houston and the no restaurants at all leading up to Austin.
There's nothing to comment on. There are no road signs. There are no funny billboards. It's just darkness.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
It is at night.
This
what about the ghost burgers?
It's
Yeah,
like
I know, the
being in
ghost burgers.
space. Oh yeah, ghost burgers. We saw that on the way here. It's just like being in a space pod. It's just the four of us, just in this car.
But
With
we're the only
electronic
stars.
devices.
On the way here, we saw ghost. There was a sign for ghost burgers. That's
And
what,
at a ghost town.
yeah.
I believe it was a joke, but
No, it was a real sign.
I gotta
I
say.
didn't think a sign was a joke. I just think it's like, hey, we're at Ghost Town, we got ghost burgers.
No,
Like,
it was real.
Everybody understands
No,
the
it was real.
barrenness of the wasteland. It's like,
That's
gotta be
irrefutable. It's irrefutable. No, it was real.
Yeah, there are ghost towns in Texas. That part wasn't the weird part. That's actually pretty normal. So yeah, we got back from Comic-Con and tried to not talk about it too much until we started this recording.
I will fully admit I had no such filter in place. But I repeat myself, so it's okay.
I spend most of my time just looking at other people's costumes and
Me too.
taking pictures with them for our video, which should be up. I'm sure I can throw this up on the website the same
I
week
spent
too. So.
most of my time taking said pictures, holding other people's things, and being berated and harassed
Oh,
as
yeah.
I deserve to be.
So Ian, some of us went in costume. I didn't, just because I didn't have a costume prepared, and it worked out better for our video anyway. But Ian went as George R.R. Martin.
It was cathartic for a lot of people, like therapy. Like they need to express their impatience and disappointment. And they
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
They
And,
did.
Sometimes with microphones.
and then Rachel and Aaron went as something that I didn't understand, but apparently a bunch of other people did.
get high!
Clicking ball! Yeah. So,
If that means anything to you, you already got it. If not, it's.
unless you couldn't understand the physical words we said.
I think the intent carried through. There's something spiritual about that that communicates to those who are willing to receive.
Yes, okay. Like the Eucharist. Okay,
I was
Clegane
like-
Bowl. Yeah, Clegane
Theology
Bowl.
later.
Game of Thrones thing. The idea is that the brothers Clegane, Gregor
They
Clegane,
go bowling
aka the Mountain.
for blood.
Yeah, you missed the yes, and I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, and the Hound, Sandor Clegane, they fight in an epic battle. They kind of hate each other because the Mountain, who I was cosplaying as in female form, burned Sandor's face as a child, badly
This is not the
disfiguring
appropriate
him.
soundtrack for this moment.
You're right. Yeah, and so they kind of hate each other, and the idea is that during Clegane Bowl, they totally have like a Super Bowl-esque, amazing, badass, like super gory, intense fight with.
I don't think
broadsword.
you ever seen the Super Bowl.
Well, it's like if you combined all the power of both the football teams times 2 into like one person, and that would be me.
The man they have playing this character is literally named Half Thor, and he is.
And he is
You may have
huge.
seen him. He's like, is he currently the strongest man in the world? Is that his status?
He holds certain strongest man records, I believe.
Mhm. Like he actually. Oh, go ahead.
The farthest to carry some sort of giant, like 1,000-pound log, and it was like 6 steps, and there's a record that had lasted 2,000 years or something weird. 600 years, I don't know.
I remember seeing him during one of those competitions, like on the TV one time. It was like at a family gathering. And it was just on silent, but they had it on some sports channel. I specifically noticed him because his name was Half Thor.
Because basically he's half a Thor.
According to his Instagram, he has an adorable tiny Pomeranian.
Didn't we already pass one of the giant Mega Buckies? How
Houston
many?
gets multiple.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
They're a nationwide consumer.
It's kind of.
a good place to eat.
But it's always great because he just looks like he could have the Pomeranian for a snack if he wants. Just like Crunchy Chick style.
It's kind of weird being able to hear my own voice in the post. Like I can hear it through the microphone because I have headphones in right now.
Is it like? I mean, if it's on a delay, what you're doing is incredible.
It's actually not
just how spit
on a delay at all. It just changes it so that it sounds a little bit more like it does when I'm listening to my voice than when I'm talking. Which I'm used to.
Amazingly uninteresting for everybody who happens to be listening that isn't you.
Well, it's just weird because I can calibrate the way I say things very specifically because I can actually hear how they're coming out.
Okay, do it.
Sorry, Kyle,
I am
you're
doing it.
Doing
Do it
perfect
better.
Kyle style to me.
Well, I mean, you sound just like Kyle,
Maybe
but
it's
can
like-
you calibrate it to sound like something else?
I can just hear every single minute detail of how I'm talking. It's very strange.
See, that
I
would
think
just make
that's
me
how
stop and
ASMR
shame.
artists record their videos, or else they wouldn't know what was extremely loud. And
Do
they
they not
sometimes
know
have
what
a one
volume
earbud
it is?
in. No, it's because they have their microphones turned up so high because they're recording minute noises that you wouldn't normally pick up. It's like an unnatural level of hearing sometimes
That
for
makes
certain
me
artists.
anxious.
I kind
to
of like
set
it,
up.
but it's kind of soothing. But usually because they're very sensitive to it and monitor it. Anyways, I try and make it a goal for every podcast we do to talk about ASMR.
And I take it
Yes,
as my
I've
goal to
noticed.
disparage it equally.
I don't actually evangelize ASMR. It's just because it kind of annoys Ian and Kyle that I do that.
I just serve as a general warning. You may try it, and you may find it unpleasant in a way that you did not expect.
ASMR?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, people have mixed reactions to it, and you might find it relaxing, or you might find it uncomfortable initially.
You may just be like, these people are weird, and I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God, these people are just like furries except gross. Or
Oh, by
no,
the
it's
way,
not like that.
I've
You
never
may
had
have-
that particular.
I love furries.
You may have noticed that I mentioned there were 4 of us when we started this. I'm not sure the 4th one has spoken yet since we started, and might actually be partially asleep. It's Devlin.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that you were here to the people listening to the podcast. Then you can go back to sleep.
I am Devlin. Apparently, I will get in the car with anybody who asks me to.
I will admit, you did not.
That is
really
your sales
have a
pitch to
lot of-
everyone on the internet.
A
That's
lot
what
of
you
choice in the last couple of kidnappings.
Straight up, somebody was like, at the con, we met our other friends, and they're like, you're coming with us. And I'm like, okay. And I went to McDonald's with them, and then these guys showed up, and then they're taking me somewhere. I don't know where I'm going anymore.
We knocked on the window and I somehow communicated with sign language. It's going to be a groovy party, baby, and Austin Powers fashion, because that's the type of vibe I produce.
You didn't
We shouted-
communicate
He would
with
never
your
say
sign
produce.
Shouted
language.
through the window.
You motioned for me to come, and that was kind of the obvious.
But it took a while to catch on. Y'all were like, oh, they're trying to play charades through the window.
Well, they were trying
No,
to talk
we're-
to us, and then we were trying to figure out if you guys were just being weird. You guys
I was
do
like,
a lot.
if they don't come to the gosh diddly darn door right now, I'm going to kill somebody.
Well, that makes me want to spring for the door.
Which door?
Interestingly, I believe the manager had the exact same thoughts on that.
I have.
No.
Okay, so we showed up at the door of this McDonald's at 11:30, and I'm still partially in costume, although I had taken my armor off, but I had smeared fake blood on my legs earlier, and so blood. They're supposed to look like blood spatters, and yeah, I think that turned him off for some reason, because he walked up to the door, looked at us, rolled his eyes, shook his head, and walked away as
That
he
was
reached his
definitely
arm out.
I'm not sure what's going on, but I don't have to be a part of that. So,
What were everybody's favorite costumes?
I love that beautiful red woman who was bald and had weird contacts. She mesmerized
really
me.
terrified me
I have
every
no
single
idea
time she walked past.
Maybe she was dressed up as somebody from Pathfinder.
No, that was not Pathfinder.
It just looked like someone that what's his face would draw, the pointy
No,
guy.
she had feet.
I mean, she could have just dressed up as
Also,
someone,
she had no points. She was pointless.
her own character.
She was beautiful. She was wearing this velvet dress that was low cut and a V in the front, and she was very shapely, and it trailed all the way to the floor, and she was bald
I was
as a
truly looking
cue
at
ball.
the blood on her face.
And she had
Not sure it was a
and she-
makeup.
She had dark red lipstick, and she was wearing creepy ass white contacts with red centers.
See, what's
and it
getting
was
me here
amazing.
is we're definitely on the same wavelength about describing this costume.
I loved her.
It's totally.
I didn't talk
thought
to her,
it
I
was
was
a very impressive costume.
Depending on the way the costume is arranged, I usually just, if I don't recognize it, I assume either Star Wars or some anime thing. Those are my 2 go-to.
I saw one that was Voltron, and it was really good. And then there was another one that was the teacher from Assassination Classroom. I don't remember the name of the teacher because I don't remember things, apparently.
There were a lot of Rays I saw, which were all really good. It must be a pretty simple costume to put together or something, because none of them looked bad.
If you have brown hair, you can be Ray.
It's like
That's
you
pretty
need
much
3
it.
buns, and like the actual robe is pretty easy because it's just like it's basically just strips of cloth layered like over on 3, which is really handy from like because you don't have to do anything to the cloth except layer it 3 times, belt, good. Just have a tunic under that.
It was like everybody had the staff put together really well too, though, which surprised me.
I think they must sell that for fairly cheap.
A lot of them look like PVC.
Oh, maybe so.
Based on my experience with PVC,
Well,
they all look
like what
like
Ray's staff
assembled.
was anyway, right? Just
Yeah,
like discarded
basically.
like spaceship parts that she could swing at people hard.
I saw a little baby Ray who was very sulky.
There was one of these Rays was there with her husband who was dressed superbly as Matt, the radar technician from the SNL skit.
I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt.
Dude killed it. Pretty good.
Yeah. But were there any more unique costumes that we saw? We were definitely trying to keep an eye out
There
for
was
like.
Sharknado.
There was a Sharknado.
There was. I never saw it on the person. He always had it sitting next to him.
Would you be able to tell if it were on him anywhere other than the fact that it was moving?
That's a pretty big gift though. Like it is a Sharknado. Its primary difference from sharks is that they're in the air and
Also, if you're
turbulent.
wondering like what kind of artistic interpretation this could have been, there wasn't one. It
It
was
kind of looked like a beanstalk.
it was a giant stuffed swirly thing with plush sharks like attached to it, and I guess he just got inside it or something and then
I
shuffled
think-
around.
I think that it was a mattress pad that he turned the other way around and then spray painted in stripes and then glued sharks too. That
It
was
did look
my
kinda like
analysis,
it, yeah.
my expert crafting analysis.
The movie Sharknado 2 is the only one I can immediately think of in which George R.R. Martin actually appears.
What?
He dies.
In that movie?
Yeah, he gets
Are
eaten
you
by a shark.
serious?
Spoiler.
I should
Yeah.
have stayed in that Bronx
Cameos.
laundromat.
That sounds like a longer story.
I just was Sharknado 2 came on in the Bronx laundromat while I was doing a large load of laundry, and I was like, should I stay and watch it? And I was like, no, it smells weird in here, and people try and steal my clothes.
I just never heard somebody say, I wish I had stayed longer in the Bronx laundromat. It sounds like a test phrase you would use like to like get into a secret base because nobody would
That's
say
how
it
you get into a
accidentally.
secret base, because nobody would say that.
And I was-
Not, I would like to order vodka for my friend
Yuri.
Dimitri.
Yeah. I want vodka for my friend Yuri.
Oh my
And so
god.
cleverly introduced in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
They just admit like at least 16 people to the secret basement every day. Maybe we're making assumptions. Maybe it's just the basement. And they just like have an elaborate like code knock.
You know what? About that laundromat, I'm actually really grateful they played TV because it taught me my love for Spanish soap operas. I don't speak Spanish, but it just taught me how much I love to watch beautiful people argue with one another over topics I can't understand.
Then why don't you love me?
It's too personal, too close.
I saw
Aw.
a Ghast from Minecraft at the Comic-Con. That was
Yeah,
pretty
the
cool.
gas was good. I don't like. He did not appear to like stick around long. Like that was a
Yeah, it's true.
My favorite. There were 3 people in the inflatable T-Rex costumes.
Oh, that was fun.
That was
Like-
really weird. We were all just sitting at this table, like eating, and then just 3 T-Rexes come around the corner.
I mean, at a certain sense, I mean, it's kind of like this year's like morph suit. It's sort of like instant costume, no real effort, but they like moved as a pack.
Yeah.
And they were like they would stalk people and like and just until they turned around, it was great.
It's just
There was
immediately
a
entertaining.
Jurassic Park Jeep, and so they spent a long time posing on the Jurassic Park Jeep with other people just randomly getting. And they were not part of that exhibit. I don't believe. They
You know,
just,
I think parents assumed they were sponsored, but if you looked in their suits, they were like awkward teenagers. Like I saw one
they
side.
did great.
They were very brave.
They played along superbly.
Morph suits aren't really all that entertaining.
What?
What?
Morph suits aren't really all that entertaining.
Yeah, but
with
those
like the
T-Rexes
T-Rexes, like their
are.
heads flop around and it's
They're
just the
so
best.
funny.
I mean, it actively like impedes the person wearing it, which is, and you know that they did it to themselves, and that's where they want to be. So,
I love that you can just watch them do. I love when people just put it those videos where they put them on and then do stuff. Like I saw one pole dance the other day. That enriched my life.
I really enjoyed the ice skating T-Rex.
That was
Oh
really
yeah,
great.
I've seen that.
I would say he was graceful without flaw, but that was not the case.
Well, I'd never seen anyone in the T-Rex suit before, like do anything like skill related. So that was before the ice skating video. So it was like fresh for me. I was like, bam! Wait, he's actually doing things, or she.
Did you see that thing I posted earlier, Ian, on Skype? And it was like Geralt, and it was like a cosplayed Geralt, and like he looks and sees one of those T-Rexes, and he starts like chasing after it, and it starts running away.
I believe this is funny, but I do not understand.
Look it up, people. Geralt of Rivia chasing T-Rex.
I feel like that's it though. Like that happens, correct? I mean, it's sort of like the famous Shakespeare bit, right? Like exit pursued by a bear. Like that's all the stage direction there is, because that's what happens.
There were a lot of really.
Speaking of
What?
What is it?
There were a lot of really good costumes there also.
Yeah, oh my god.
Like just really impressive ones.
Yeah.
Like especially all of the I think the one that stands out as the most accurate one was actually the Scarlet Witch that Ian found.
yeah, she was just like very easily could have stood in for Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
And she had an adorable little Quicksilver from the First Class series.
And both the
hanging
costumes
around.
were really, really good.
I actually thought that Wonder Woman was really great too.
Yeah,
I mean,
she was good.
I feel like that was, it was kind of amusing seeing it not in the Zack Snyder film though, because it was still like color drained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually like color drained the materials. That's weird.
Yeah. And she had a little girl wearing the same suit but in like baby form. Her little baby. And
Yeah.
she was eating cheese snacks. And it was so cute. And she was like, will you pose? And she was like,
See,
no.
due to ambiguous pronouns, I'm now imagining Gal Gadot eating cheese snacks.
What?
Well, you didn't
Oh my
specify
God,
that it was
it's
the child eating
Jabberjaw.
the cheese snacks.
Yeah, no respect.
Why we can't just sit here and
I feel
listen to
like-
music
no,
on a
I feel
podcast.
like
Yeah,
we should,
okay.
this
That
is
doesn't
bad
work.
manners.
I forgot.
Like,
Uh,
yeah. I felt really happy about Wonder Woman. I'm gonna
Pause the thing
wait.
then.
What? Oh, your
Yeah.
playlist? Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt really happy about Wonder
Sure,
Woman
but
though
it's sorry,
because
it's bad manners to start a podcast during
Uh,
the playlists. It's okay.
you
I'll
keep-
survive.
okay, yeah.
This is important.
I was really happy because she said she liked my costume and wanted to take a picture with me, but her costume was like a million times better than mine, and so I was like, because I wanted to take a picture with her, and we made eye contact, and it was like a magical moment. Like our eyes both twinkled, and we were both like, oh wait, or like both of our hands went to our heart. We were like, oh wait, can I take a picture with? Oh, I wanted to take a picture with you. Oh no, with you. Oh, I love your costume. Oh, but I love your costume. It was just like that.
So Rachel had managed to somehow, like with helmet on, be scary purple-eyed zombie like travesty of nature. Without helmet on, be 80s glam barbarian.
Yeah, I think that the
Beacon
makeup
of
look
justice.
did that.
So
yeah,
that was pretty good.
You look like someone from heavy metal.
Oh my god. Maybe that was it. Yeah. I also wrote hype on my butt and then bejeweled it, the butt area. So that was one thing too. Like that changes the look, I think. The hype is a reference to Clegane Bowl. Get hype. 100% effing confirmed. Yes.
Yeah.
They're
But-
very excited about this. I still don't know what it is.
You know, you do. That's it. Like just say the words. The hype will come.
Don't say the words the hype will come.
No,
Just
that's a
say
different
Clegane Bowl 100% effing confirmed. Except say the F word and it'll make you feel better. Except not on the podcast.
Get right. That's it.
Just scream it. You're not
What?
doing it. Clegane Bowl.
Cologne Bowl.
Cologne Bowl?
Cologne
That's
Bowl.
only
What
worth
the heck
like
is cologne?
great
That's like the
deal
French
more-
version.
Great deal more money.
Oh my god, that's like the foppish 1700s version.
Like,
Okay, I want to stop thinking about that. Okay.
We
Is
really,
that repulsive?
I just
Sounds like a
I just
pleasant
said I
object,
wanted
all
to stop
considered.
thinking about it. It's like less hype.
It sounds better
Don't
than
drag me down,
Clegane,
bro.
which Clegane sounds off.
I mean, I am in
No,
no
it
way
doesn't,
suggesting that
people.
Clegane Bowl will be a pleasant or necessarily enjoyable event, but it will happen, and the hype is real.
I
Get
can't,
hype.
I can't help but, I mean, just think that like, a few months down the line, when anybody's listening to this, they're going to have no idea what any of this means. But I also didn't expect anybody to recognize you two, and I was very much proven wrong. So
recognized us. And I think it really helped to write Clegane Bowl on Aaron as a tramp stamp.
Yeah, did it really attract? I mean, I don't know. Was it like that much more effective than the actual Clegane Bowl? I
think that people didn't bother to read the Clegane Bowl. Like, I think they just looked at thought it was Aaron carrying something around.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I dropped the Clegane Bowl down the up escalator.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that did happen.
Oh
you guys left, and me and Devlin were going up to get our tickets.
I didn't do it on
the bowl slips out of his hand, and then just it was like a cartoon. It was just like bong, 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 and then Devlin goes and tries to chase it down and has to follow it all the way back down the escalator as everyone's just turning and watching this bowl.
That was literally someone applauded. Someone applauded.
You know, I hand painted that. I worked really hard on that actually. Like that is a piece of art.
Plastic.
Let's not forget, it started off as a $2.50 Target bowl.
I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that.
Oh my god, but I spent an hour and a half or something painting that beautiful masterpiece
Devlin,
on it.
I release you from the responsibility of the hype because it is clearly chosen to try and run away from you. Like the ring, but not as successful.
Yeah, the hype hasn't chosen you, Devlin. Oh my
you
god.
Will live an unhyped life.
I don't want the hype.
Wow.
And pass into the west.
Why are you so
remain
upset?
Galadriel.
You dropped my bowl. I worked really hard on that. That was my beautiful piece of art.
The first thing I did when I got handed the bowl was give it to Devlin.
What?
So
it took me like an hour and a half. It was beautiful. I hand painted it.
Nobody asked
took you
for
an
this
hour
bowl,
and a half?
Rachel.
Yeah, it probably took me 30 minutes. But
nobody wanted the bowl.
I wanted the
bowl.
You didn't want the bowl. If you wanted the bowl, I wouldn't have been holding it.
I just was holding too many things.
To hold her chicken, so that was nice.
I actually made it as a prop for someone else, even though I paid for it. So I was like, I specifically thought I was making it for George R.R. Martin so that he could bang a wooden spoon on it and scream Clegane Bowl. That was literally the impression I had about it.
I understand the role George R.R. Martin has
in his nerdy
loud
voice.
Wrestling announcer.
Clegane Bowl.
He hasn't even written the part. Like all the Clegane Bowl is from the show.
I know, but it's just a hype train. Get on the hype train, choo choo. The hype
George R. R.
train
Martin is notoriously reluctant or resilient to hype trains. He moves at his own pace, and the train can just go on its merry way.
That's why he's got the effing turtle pin on his hat.
Yeah.
It's not effing, it's just a turtle pin.
It's a pretty cool turtle pin, though.
It is. Sometimes you have to clarify these things because the internet really loves effing turtles.
Okay, no, that wasn't. Cut that line? I don't know. That doesn't need to occur.
I'm not editing this.
I'm right. Okay.
Everybody has to censor themselves. I'm not going in and cutting anything.
I did censor myself. Look.
Did you?
I said gosh darn diddly or something like that.
You did fully flander that one. That was... Speaking of politics in a very indirect way, our friend Herman Cain.
Oh my god, why are we bringing this up?
Because it's so Donald Trump had Herman Cain introduce him at a rally.
We were escaping this
Herman
world.
Cain began this
Hold
address
on.
by saying...
I thought we made a specific rule that we don't talk about Donald Trump on our YouTube channel.
No, Donald Trump. This is fully Herman Cain.
Okay, that's fine.
This is... He introduced himself, the candidate, and the crowd by going, I'm here to introduce a shucky-ducky candidate on this shucky-ducky ground. On this shucky-ducky day. Isn't it just all shucky-ducky? And he did not flinch or in any way give any indication this was not the thing to be said at the moment.
No, he was grinning and it looked like he was about to cry, like he was like having such a fun thought to himself.
Like, oh man, this is the shucky-duckiness. But the best part about it is once I like conglomerated this onto everything else I know about Herman Cain, it did not change my opinion of him at all. Yes, good, that is acting in character. All right, now back on to not that.
What else did we do at Comic-Con? We ate some very expensive but okay food.
Yeah, that was pretty expensive.
We saw Carl Weathers from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And illegally took a picture.
Yeah, Aaron sneakily took a picture. Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of people from a distance, including
Norman.
Peter Mayhew's handler.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, Sigourney Weaver was within viewing distance, but I couldn't actually see her.
Eliza
Norman
Dushku was
Reedus.
very, very happy looking.
Norman
Reedus, Kojima Hype Train!
Norman
Reedus and the Funky Fetus.
I just think it's funny, having been to 3 of these now, that's like Norman Reedus is just, he's always there.
I've
Like,
never
he
had
gets a pretty decent crowd every
any
time.
reason to care about Norman Reedus.
I haven't either, but
Like,
he's always there.
He has kind of like stringy hair, it's a little oily, he has a crossbow, that's kind of cool, but he's like a leather vest, which is a little bit 80s for me, and I don't know. Like, he's still alive, that's cool and all, but now, he's the lead in a Kojima game.
Mm-hmm. You know what,
I've seen him cry over a Phantom Oil baby, so everything has changed.
I wrote a poem about this trailer. Can I read it to y'all on the podcast? It's short.
The moon's so pretty.
That was a great one.
Sure, I guess so.
Wow, Devlin, you showed no interest in that. I take that as a personal slight.
What?
You showed no interest in my poem that I wrote. It's a beautiful poem. Actually, it's a weird
I will
poem.
be the judge of that.
Yeah, sure.
It also uses some nonsense words and mixes up some languages because I speak multiple languages. Okay.
You can't make that sound like it's a talent when you've written a
It
straight
just sounds like
poem.
something that kind of grinds the conversation to a halt when it's already a little bit halty as it is.
Sorry.
This whole thing is basically the reason we're doing this now is like it's like a constant just like shock therapy to keep ourselves awake while we're driving home from Houston.
Specifically
Okay, Kyle, I think if you got introduced to shock therapy, you're going to be very unpleasantly surprised.
The shock therapy was the 3 disco pogos in a row that was coming up.
Oh my god. Oh, I found the poem.
Okay,
Yes.
read the poem.
You guys, we don't have to read it.
Just read it
I
now,
feel
get
like-
it done.
I feel like now that I've mentioned it, I have to read it.
You've built it up into our viewers.
Do
Alright.
the gorilla impression.
Reedus's fetus, his precious Delitus. In Hideo's rodeo, all fishies, Caputo, que misterioso. Oily sand handprints, mark out your son's moments. Well for the whales you woke to today. Thank you.
So you
That was
somehow
so beautiful, Rachel. Oh, I
actually
loved
managed
it.
to incorporate
I loved it.
the tagline of Metal Gear Solid 5 into there, so that's kind of cool.
What was the tagline?
V has come to,
Oh,
but the wrong two.
I said woke to.
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
That's
you
the same
managed
two?
to channel. It wasn't a particularly sensical tagline.
I was really tired when I wrote it, but
I was really tired when I heard it.
I feel like one of those is an excuse, and one of those is like Devlin.
Yeah.
All right, we're on the same page.
I think I should write more poetry because that was so beautiful. Actually, it was super weird.
Maybe we should not use words like fetus and deletus in the same verses, though. Like it
I just
happened,
used
but like
it
you still have
because
handprints, so
it's Latin.
it's not.
It is. Having been deleted, it's a perfect passive participle. It just
It
means
was
the fetus
deletarius.
having been like gotten
Oh
rid of.
goodness.
No, because delaried.
I thought we were trying to keep us awake.
Sorry, delay with delatus. It's the fourth
No, I
principal
promise
part
you.
of
You want me
deleo.
to keep me awake? Challenge me on grammar.
Well, I'm not. Well, I am worried about you
so,
staying awake.
So I gotta
during
clarify
the
something.
drive.
Ian has a reputation for being the classes scholar, but I am a Latin teacher. This is my profession. I teach the children how to speak this dead language, and I employed it in this poem.
It's nice.
Yes.
But you don't push on others unnecessarily, so it's not a defining character trait.
That's kind of strange. Yeah. No,
See, if you did that more, you'd be recognized for it.
I just did a little bit. I just pushed a little there. I
But
just
you have to
asserted my
announce it like
Latin
this.
dominance.
Fun classics fact, so everybody can politely tune out when you say it.
Fun classics fact.
Yeah, see?
Julius Caesar had a horse that he named after the horse owned by Alexander the Great. In fact, he sought out the same type of breed as Alexander. Guess what distinguishing characteristic that horse had?
It's a Gratomic question has toes!
It had toes. Guess what he named that horse? Toes! He named the horse Toes because it had toes that resembled human feet. Does that sound like it would be good for a horse? Nose! Oh my god. Sorry.
What is happening?
Fun classics fact from Rachel. Filtered through
Oh
Ian.
my god,
Okay.
I
I
really
feel like I was just
classics.
transported to the Twilight Zone, and I really don't want to be there.
Welcome to the After Midnight podcast, where
Much
everybody is
better than-
insane.
Is the after midnight events available at the con, like Steampunk Back Alley 18 plus.
Whatever the
That
heck.
sounds like an invitation to get robbed, but with really cool looking guns.
Or
And then
maybe-
the class. What was the thing? The erotic fan
No,
fiction
like,
reading.
Come read
Oh my
terrible,
God.
As
awful
led-
fan fiction. 18 plus only, as read by Kyle's art teacher.
Oh my God, your art teacher?
It's one of my teachers from
That
the Art
sounds like
Institute.
literally the cringiest thing we could ever put together.
Well, I think it wasn't that crazy.
Not
because
one of the good teachers, mind you.
It was clearly like aware that it was bad. So that's the first step.
No, I want to. No, that sounds amazing though. But
There
like,
were other 18
cringy for
plus
you, Kyle,
erotic
'cause it's your professor,
fan fiction
but-
sharing circles that I believe were intended to have a serious bend to them.
why didn't we go to that thing?
Well, there were many reasons, and most of them involved the fact that they were listed in the program as "Come read terrible fan fiction at midnight" with Kyle's old art instructor.
We're
for
missing that
18
right
plus.
now.
It wasn't even an art
18
instructor.
plus.
She like taught the producing and directing class or something, and was not very into it.
Oh wait, so. Oh my God. Oh, that sounds amazing.
She's also like a voice actor in a few
Oh my God.
okay video games.
I was much more interested in the paranormal 102 protection techniques.
Yeah.
Like whatever they're doing, it works because I have never heard of anybody assaulted by a ghost.
That's because Paranormal 101 was so effective.
No, they actually had a full course from Paranormal 101 to Paranormal 104, the last of which was the Paranormal in Science. I kind of feel like if that worked, that was like a really quality part of their program, they might want to lead with their lead and put that one first. But what do I know about running a panel?
We also didn't go to any of these panels. Well, Devlin did. He went to a couple of them.
I
The
actually
rest of
went
us
to
didn't.
5 for like 2
I
seconds.
actually went to a science panel that wasn't at all related to the con, apparently.
Really?
There's just a bunch of people talking about science in a room.
No, it was like a one about spaceships and stuff.
Oh yeah, NASA had a huge presence there because it's Houston and NASA.
Yeah, it was like a NASA one or Space Center X or something.
They had a really unassuming little byline in the program, like, come check out the current progress of Houston's space vehicles and spaceport. Like,
Yeah,
we
they
have
had
a spaceport.
Yeah, it was talking about the spaceport and stuff, and
What is a spaceport?
You know what airports
it's
do?
a
Spaceport.
place where the
spaceships
ships
take off.
can take off, either like a plane or vertically. In
You know what?
classical
The
fashion
only
and
structures that exist in Kerbal Space.
So like an actual launch pad? Like
Yeah.
so we're getting one of those now, not just Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're building it near Brown or something. It's like kind of coastal-ish.
I heard SpaceX
Yeah,
was
SpaceX
doing
is
one.
doing the one in Brown. I didn't know NASA had one planned here.
Okay, so guys.
I wonder if spaceports are also going to have weird, funky architecture, like as a cultural touchstone.
We also saw some stuff about going like Mach 8,000 or something.
Now, Mach 8,000 or Mach 8,000?
I don't know.
But then near the end, we kind of trailed off because like
That was a great follow-up to that silence right there.
Oh,
Ah,
hey,
please.
motherfucker!
It's okay. It's
That
all
was
good.
Take it carefully.
No,
I am taking it carefully. That was very controlled.
Holy crap. That was a ridiculous curve right there.
That was, I promise you, I went into that at the
Okay.
speed it recommended.
Okay, so I blamed you for that, but in retrospect, it was its fault.
I
It
have
was the
to
curve's
pee
fault.
now.
Well, at least you don't have to pee now.
And now,
Like,
where
that
the
would be the worst
heck
thing.
are we?
Hey,
Oh my God.
okay,
Where
this is
the?
a controlled
What the-
deceleration
what
into
the-
a left-hand turn. You want me to narrate? That'd be great.
And now
your
we're in
pilot
sketchy.
speaking.
Okay, and
Okay, at
suddenly
least we're not in a
we're
yard
on,
that
we're
gets
on the
personal
set
attention
for
of the
Evan to
constable.
Kill a Mockingbird. Suddenly.
Can I
Now this feels like more like one of these usual
Can I
podcasts.
Oh my
hear
God.
what I'm supposed to do to get out, please?
Yes. Turn left onto Eldon Street.
We're not turning left right here.
Eldon Street.
Hey, just told me to do it now.
Okay, I haven't really been paying attention. How is it that on a relatively straight line home we have ended up in some darkened neighborhood?
Well, it told me to take that turn, which I guess somebody redrew with a Sharpie at some point. Like,
Turn left onto North Rome Street, then turn right
No.
onto West Main
It's probably a perfectly pleasant neighborhood in the daylight too.
Okay, now turn left. What the heck kind of directions? It's really hard for me not to swear right now. Okay. Ugh.
Look, at least
I'm just going into school mode. Okay.
I am not the worst driver you've dealt with today.
Turn right onto West Main
Now
Street.
listen, I'm not driving. That would be like.
Wait, Rachel didn't ride with Elizabeth?
I just know how Elizabeth drives due to many years of friendship.
I know how she drives because I was in a car with her once.
Devlin did it twice. I'm not sure if he's a brave man or just too cowardly to back out. Like, nope, this is my death now.
Don't value my life that much.
Yeah, apparently just go straight.
Toward the conference.
On the way here in the morning, we stopped for breakfast at one of the tiny little Texas towns that exist everywhere in Texas.
Shoot.
And it was unusual.
Elvira's Cafe, but nothing like the Elvira.
I thought it would be like a pinball galore. Like, I don't know. I associate
You know what the
art.
building reminded me of? It was like when you start building something in Minecraft with no plan whatsoever. Like the ceiling was slightly too low and the bathrooms were only like 2 blocks wide or something.
When you have to measure everything in 3 meters, that's kind of a limitation.
And everybody was...
In a truck, every single one.
The first thing we pulled in, we were in, a car, all pickup trucks.
I mean,
literally
it's Texas. It's
every
not that unusual
single
to have trucks
car.
dominate the parking lot, but literally every single one. Like, we got a parking spot directly in front of the door because none of them could fit in the frontal parking spaces.
Mm-hmm.
When we left, there was a grand purple motorbike of some sort.
Oh.
And then inside, everybody was, very white, very wearing button-ups and baseball caps
I saw Santa Claus
and
in the corner.
jeans. And it was so Texas that it reminded us all of like how not Texas we have become living in Austin for like a couple decades.
I also think I saw some of the cast of Duck Dynasty, like legitimately, like Cy or whatever his face, like Uncle Cy, is that his name? I think I saw him.
I'm not on first name terms with them.
Duck Dynasty is an okay program.
See, that's the most controversial thing that's been said on the
I have
channel
viewed
for a
it before.
while.
I have viewed it before, actually at the House of Elizabeth, and I found it somewhat pleasant at the time.
I mean, it's clearly like something that's being like this family has been like dolled up and exploited for the sake of people wanting to see when things go wrong. And it didn't
Simple
for a while, so they had to
contra-folk.
make sure that it did.
It's Moe for Americans.
Oh.
I don't. What is that reference?
Please explain, Devlin.
It's like an anime
What's
thing.
Moe? Explain Moe, please. Please explain Moe. You brought it up too.
I want to point out that we are now back on track on the road with no drama whatsoever after somebody decided to cruelly shunt the car rightward.
They should be able to tell because all the horrific amounts of background noise is back.
Yeah. I still have no idea. I think that's what I was supposed to do. As far as I can tell, that was directions as intended.
Oh my god.
I apologize if I screwed that up somehow, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting.
Woke me
It
up.
was kind of cool to like brake like in hydroplane uphill at an angle, going like in a circle. That's a skill.
Hydroplane? There was no water.
There wasn't any water.
Well, it did rain. Maybe it's like
Maybe that was the
it was
metaphor
even
for
more
what happened.
impressive if there wasn't any hydroplaning.
To be honest, I think if there were water, we'd be dead now.
You know, I think there's something refreshing about when your whole group can agree about something that happened. And, like, I feel like we were united in that moment when we were screaming around the curve. Like, we all agreed that
Isn't
was
this
very
literally
bad.
the first plot arc from Harry Potter? Like where they have to fight a cave troll and it's like, oh yeah.
What? What I just described?
Yeah, it was like, you don't
Yeah.
fight cave trolls with people you aren't friends with.
I just
You
described the
leave them to
universal
die by cave troll.
universal human experience there. So I'm pretty profound. That's why I wrote that
Anyways,
poem.
the city of Brenham needs to get its crap in check.
City? Are we in?
I think that was the city of Brenham. Briefly. Maybe it's their tourism department. This'll get them.
For
Raise flags.
those of you who aren't in Texas, it consists of many small towns, most of which even we don't know or
Most
could
of
not
them
point
are
out.
actually just blips that are
Wouldn't
like
recognize.
just code words for we are X% of the way to Houston.
There's Ethan lives in Liberty Hill, which is up north of Austin, and its size, just to give you an idea, it has a main street, and it's got an intersection, and that's it.
There's still plenty of hill left. I guess the rest of it has been.
That is the entirety of the city.
Liberated.
There is an intersection. I believe there's a building on each corner of this
We have to bring
intersection.
up the daycare again.
There's a stop sign on
There's
each one.
a daycare in Liberty Hill called Little Crusaders, which is kind of cute. I'm like, oh, they're like, they go out and like go get them attitude. But no, it actually has like a child in knight's armor. So they're clearly aware of the children's
This is a
crusade.
logo, not a real child.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry. It's a painting of a child in armor. So they're aware of the crusades. And there was one led and entirely participated by children. And the child is bandaged and has only one eye, so they're aware that everybody in that crusade died. So I'm kind of wondering what their sales pitch is.
It's yeah.
What is
It's-
it? What is this? That song?
If you have a relevant song
shoot.
right now, I'm not sure.
I do.
Basically, anything
Oh, wow,
you
I've
think
got it.
of about Texas is pretty
It's
much
not
true
open pasture land.
anywhere than in the big cities. Like it's like if you're in between.
Well, I mean, there's a whole ton of people. This is a weird thing. There's a huge, like a generation of people whose view of Texas was shaped by the soap opera Dallas. And I think that's pretty. It's a soap opera, but Dallas kind of comes across as Dallas when you, no matter how hard you try.
So when I was in Italy, I told this is the kind of reaction I would get when I told people I was from Texas. Here's a stereotypical example. I was like talking to a bartender and I was ordering something, and I didn't order this, but he asked me where I was from because I was just speaking Italian very well, and he was like, I was like Texas, and it took him a second to get what I was saying, and I had to kind of say like Texas, but when I said it like that, he was like, oh, Texas, and then he goes like he gets two guns, his handgun, he makes two guns with his hands. He goes pew pew, and then he gets out the jack, like he gets the Jack Daniels off the wall. He goes with Coke.
I want to point out this is actually just a community episode.
Really?
Is it?
Yeah, it's like the weird depressing one where Troy has his 21st birthday, but he's like too religious to drink, and Annie
Oh,
thinks
yeah.
she's from Texas, and everybody's
Yeah, right.
somebody had a bad day writing that episode. But also, I want to point out that our high school, Vista Ridge High School, had quite unironically is its slogan, "Guns Up," in conjunction with you cross your fingers, like cross your fingers, hold out your thumb and raise it
Yeah.
periodically in the air.
Vista
They
Ridge
say
Rangers.
This is because it is both a V and an R in sign language. I'll also point out at one point we made national news due to the fact there was a planned school shooting by a disgruntled student. And yet the whole guns up thing, that did not change.
Were they a deaf student who was offended by the school sign?
But isn't that inclusive?
I'm just kidding. But
Make your jokes make sense with my words.
I'll try better next event we do in the future.
When I went to England, my entire group of Americans.
Are you okay?
It's
Is there
late.
a cat back there?
The entire group of Americans that I was traveling with, they said like, oh, like we said where we were from, and I said I was from Texas, and they were like, oh, you don't sound like you're from Texas. Like, yeah, awesome. I was like, I'm from Austin. That's probably why. But then 2 days later, I go into some random coffee shop. It was a Starbucks. I went to a Starbucks in
You're
London.
Kyle.
And there was some guy working in there. I don't know where his accent was from. It wasn't from London. It was from somewhere even further from London. I said one sentence, and he goes, oh, are you from Texas? And I'm like, what did I do?
Did you say y'all, maybe?
No, I never say y'all.
No, it's weird. Like, there's people who can detect my Texas twang better, even though I'm just sort of meekly Austin. But, like, I mean, it just happens sometimes, and there's just,
It was just
say
really...
the word fire. That's a good
Fire.
sugar. If you say firewall,
Okay.
it happens.
You
It
know
was
what?
just weird because
My
nobody
dad-
from the U.S. recognized me as Texas,
Yeah.
but this other guy from somewhere completely not the United
looking
States.
for it, I think. He's like, yes, finally, at last.
Because you dress like a European, Kyle. But I think maybe one thing
They're just
that
gonna brush right over that.
Scarves. You need more scarves.
I did.
All right.
When I was
we're
there, I very much, yeah. lots of
dialectically,
scarves.
like I think one thing that we do in Texas that's not common in places other than the South is use real instead of really. Like,
Yeah, I mean-
and I do that commonly. Like it was real cold.
Yeah.
Also, anything with a T in the middle. Like, I don't teach Latin. I teach Latin.
Latin, yeah, I actually find that kind of like I feel a little bad that I don't say Latin, but I feel really snobby when I say that.
I say Latina in Latin.
Latina. I don't say
Like, that is the Latin word for Latin.
I
but
don't think I can say Latina. Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm sure there are some things that I say that sound more Texan than I realize. I don't know if any of us really have like a heavy accent.
I mean, mine happens more when I'm trying to be folksy or talking to my parents. Like, code switching, it's just like, it is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, code switching proper, I believe, actually involves, like, switching languages amongst family.
I actually have
members who
trouble
speak both.
intentionally going into a more southern accent. Like
Well, when I do it, like,
trouble
super
with-
intentionally, it just becomes bad. But, you know, if I'm doing it, it's usually for the effect, and it works okay.
I can do it really well.
when my mom talks
I
to
can
her
do
mom
lots
on the
of
phone,
varieties.
every time the verb to clean something through like water and rubbing, that is washing.
Washing. Oh,
It is
yeah.
every time, but only when she's talking to her mother.
Oh, I just like that one.
I'm just now realizing that this thing is like picking up me and Devlin way louder than it is you two.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
It will make me
Adjusting
sing
it all.
more hummus. Peace.
Well, I've been talking kind of loud, so.
Needs to be like standing up or something.
That is just a tank on the side of the road. Just like a giant, like the truck or the tanker truck moving off the truck park.
Maybe we should talk more about the convention, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
It may not be picking me up. I may be like hearing my own voice through my skull at the same time or something. I actually can't tell the difference.
Oh.
Maybe I'm totally wrong. This actually isn't helping.
No. I just want to take a moment to tell you guys about one of the highlights of the convention for me, which is back onto the space theme that Devlin was talking about. I realized after the fact today that I got hit on by an astronaut.
No. This is
No.
up
This is
for
an astronaut
debate.
in
He
training.
said he had been accepted to the astronaut training program.
He's an astronaut in
He
training.
offered no proof except the polo that he could have bought on a rack 3 feet behind him.
Well, he
Also-
was very well spoken, and he invited me to come see the thing he was organizing. Whatever
He
Devlin's
invited
on.
her to go see his rocket ship.
And he was like respectful and
Literally
stuff.
just say 5 people rocks, but in a polo.
He was really nice. But
That's
I
how they
think
get you.
that's like I feel like that's like a out of the like.
But he invited you to the panel?
I mean, yeah, he invited me to
See,
come.
that's
listen
it.
to
He's
this
not
play and
hitting on
everything.
you. He just wants his panel to have people in.
Well, no, he was also like making small talk and stuff and showing like specific interest in me in like
People
the
to come to
man
the
way.
panel. We're gonna have a panel next year, whether or not they allow it. We've decided that we can run most of these panels.
And the trick is to tell girls you're an astronaut in training and then say flirty things to them and
I'll
compliment
try
their
it.
appearance and costume and general outlook. And
But
then they will
only
want to
if
come
they
to your
actually
panel.
like hearing that from you. Otherwise, it's real creepy and don't do it.
Yeah,
Step one
that's
probably
true.
is like if you're listening to this and you're trying to take the advice. Step one is become an astronaut. If you get there,
But as
Make a
we've
decision.
talked about, you're not an astronaut until you've been into space.
yeah.
It doesn't count if you haven't actually done the astronauting.
The training is really intensive, as I know from
That's
the
fine, but you're still not
highly
an astronaut.
anime Space Brothers.
Kind of like how going through basic training doesn't actually make you a soldier until you go.
Actually,
Well, there are
technically,
just
to be a
so
soldier,
few
all you have
astronauts.
to do is receive pay.
Really? Wait, what?
The word soldier just means like military paidman, like etymologically.
Well, okay. It still seems like conceptually you have to have a little bit of experience under your belt before.
I don't feel comfortable delineating who is and isn't a soldier. That seems like it's out of my realm of expertise.
I'm not going to act like it's not
To go-
impressive to go through basic training because I haven't done it. But
You know what? This would be a better metaphor if you had to you had to be a scientist or something to be accepted into basic training. But to be an astronaut, you have to go through a number of rigorous screening processes and have your application reviewed, and have to go through a number of like physical trainings and stuff
It's
like that
cool.
before you can even be accepted as a trainee. So
Fun fact, Neil Armstrong's astronaut application was a week late, but the person processing his application was a friend of his, so he just slipped it into the snack.
yup, connections.
So, life lesson, don't be on time, make connections.
Just like I made with that astronaut. Just kidding. He wasn't an astronaut. And also, we didn't have like we only talked for a few minutes, and I sent him away because of boyfriend.
I'm not sure how to feel about any of this conversation.
I just felt like it was a highlight for me. Like I feel like I can add that to my list of like it's like a positive.
You live next to NASA. I'm sure like astronauts just
So
come and go
I've
you know.
had dinner with an astronaut before, and like and he's been to Antarctica and stuff,
I
and I
saw
talked to him.
Sigourney Weaver.
But
That was really cool.
is she an
Like, you should love
astronaut?
that.
She has definitely been to space.
Are you serious?
Okay,
Yeah.
she's way
She's fought
cooler.
aliens.
Are you serious?
How
Okay,
close were you?
that's cool.
Does that mean that Bill
I
Paxton was an astronaut?
I was so far
That's
I
weird.
could not see her face, but I knew it was
Well, you
her,
just need to
and
see the
that's
hair,
what
right?
counted. The damn translator kept blocking her.
What was the translator translating it to?
The sign language. She was doing the signs, but like the way she was standing and
doing
where
the
we were
signs.
sitting, like I couldn't see past her. I was trying to I'm all like moving to see Sigourney Weaver. They got everybody else there, but I don't give a shit about them. I only care about Sigourney
Bill
Weaver.
Paxton? the most influential speech ever to be uttered by a president, real or fake. Come
But
on.
Sigourney Weaver was there, and it's really weird because they called her Sigourney, and like it kind of made it dawn on me that that's
not
actually
a name, actually.
Yeah.
that's actually her first name. Like Sigourney Weaver is just it's one of those names you have to say all together.
Like whoever calls Liam Neeson either one of those without the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
That's,
But those
mother
are both-
probably. I
Those
think
are both names.
Yeah, but
I've
you
never
know-
heard anyone else named Sigourney. That is
But
not
but like
unusual.
he specifically is always both Liam and Neeson.
Yeah.
is Sigourney like an
Or like
Irish name?
Norman Reedus.
no,
But also
actually,
his last name is Reedus, and
That's much cooler
it's
than
just
Norman.
really uninspiring.
I think Norman is bad. Not that Norman Reedus is bad, just Norman is an
I'm
annoying
sorry to
name.
all you Normans out there.
Sorry, Normans.
it was really cool to see her. I wanted to get a picture with her, but it was like $150, and I don't work at Office Max anymore. So of course I was rolling in it before.
By the way, backstory, Devlin used to work at Office Max. We can continue.
Yeah, that's about as exciting as it sounds.
Explain Toner.
I don't want to explain Toner again, Ian.
Company secrets. He's keeping them. Blackmail. Perhaps even in color if he's feeling spindy.
Oh my god, you made it. Oh, that was so funny.
See, now I just know that means it fails.
I wasn't actually
Ian's just been batting 1,000 for making Rachel laugh at things that aren't funny this entire day.
What was the thing that we said? Thumbs, what? That stupid thing. Never mind. Okay, it was really funny.
It doesn't matter.
My
It wasn't
lines
funny.
didn't
There's
work,
no
okay?
point in bringing whatever it was up.
I just want you guys to know that my manicure for this cosplay involved attaching googly eyes to my thumbs to simulate the murder of Oberyn Martell
Wow,
by the mountain.
spoilers.
Oh my god, you're
Yeah,
right.
good job, Rachel.
Shoot. Oh,
That's what you just did, and I'm not
I
editing
You
forgot.
could have just stopped with I have eyes on my thumbs, and anybody who knows would go, anybody who wouldn't go, well, that was a stupid design
Oh, I'm
choice.
so
Move
sorry.
on.
Maybe you should edit that out.
I'm not editing it.
Well,
Not
I'm
editing
sorry.
anything.
Kyle won't edit it out. It's his fault. No, that's an Ian thing to say. It's my fault. No, I don't care. Nothing
Was
is.
that? It was an Ian thing to say.
Wasn't it, Kyle? Wasn't it?
I have no input
Kyle
on
doesn't
this.
have a comment. Therefore, it is an Ian thing to say.
That's such a Kyle thing to say. We need to stop devilining about this and just get on with it.
Oh my god.
That's fair.
That's the way to do it. Equally insult everybody and everyone's okay. All right.
I can accept this. I don't even know what we're talking about.
We also filmed a video at Comic-Con. That was interesting. Most public video we've ever done.
Yeah, everybody seemed totally okay with it, which is cool.
We were worried about it. I brought like all of my most subtle equipment in a bag, and then we walk in, and then somebody passes by.
There was comically increasingly large pieces of film equipment. Like it started off with like a guy in a camcorder. Like okay, there's a guy in a full Steadicam rig. Like all right, that's just showing up. Then there's a guy like with like a microphone trailing another guy. And then
With
I
a
kid
full
you not,
boom
a
pole.
full boom pole on a tiny little wheeled rig, like being like a cannon, just like hanging over this guy like a feather, like pointing at him. Like all right, like.
So apparently I could have just brought like our whole lighting setup and been fine. But it was probably more convenient to carry the stuff that I brought anyway, and I think it probably turned out fine. I don't actually know. I have to review the footage. I have to capture footage off of tape again. I haven't done that
Oh my
in
god.
so long.
Wow.
It's actually been like a year since we've used that camera last.
We still probably had to do it on that camera anyway because the other one now looks like, you know, you're part of a groupie for a band. It's just a large attaché sort of case that like weighs 1 billion pounds.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like it was definitely more travel worthy what I brought.
Yeah, because you could fit it in like a satchel, whereas the other thing had to be like, drag.
I think we've been over this maybe.
I know you just said that.
We
but sorry.
we went to the D&D panels too. Where were you
really?
guys?
We were down on the floor the whole time.
Oh, we went to the D&D panels.
See, you didn't actually communicate with us at all after leaving for the Aliens panel. We did not see you for literally 4 hours.
Yeah, I
I-
totally didn't.
that was
I
four
actually
panels.
texted you guys.
You
guys
texted me
wouldn't
one.
text
My
me back.
phone actually died at like 11:30 after getting there at like 11:15.
I figured. I started texting Rachel.
Which
after
Ian
Yeah.
had my
I
phone
was
and
also
after a
charging
certain point,
Rachel's
so
phone.
he didn't respond
But I
to those
couldn't
either.
possibly respond to the text because every 4 seconds was take a picture, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. It was actually kind of fun, like watching the people like who would like were like excited for Clegane Bowl, and like about half of them would then like turn and see me, and their eyes would just narrow, like you.
I get a lot of experience asking people to take pictures.
Tap shoulder. Hey, can I get a picture? They will say yes. Done.
Yeah.
It helps to be Kyle and not.
What?
I mean, you're unassuming and like sort of adorable in a very like. You're not going to like take their wallets and run, or if you did, you could do it successfully, I believe.
Yeah. No, I look like a cartoon child.
Like you successfully allowed, like, asked parents to take a photo with their child, and it was totally
I did actually
fine.
do that, didn't I?
It was in no way any sort of issue whatsoever.
I took a picture with Kid Deadpool.
To be fair, they did dress their child like Deadpool, so maybe
Yeah.
they're a little bit looser on that sort of thing. There were a lot of child Deadpools. Dead
Were
puddles,
That's
if
not
you will.
very. Oh my
Like
god.
I feel like I was able to like ask
Oh my
the
God, that's so
female
funny.
cosplayers to take pictures without sounding creepy as well.
Good job.
People do that all the time.
There's a certain like sense, like when you go to a comic convention, you have put that much effort into your outfit. You are there to have pictures taken of you and to take pictures with other people.
It's really
Yeah.
easy to sound creepy though.
It is
And
really
I
easy to
would
sound
say-
creepy saying, "Hey, I really like your costume. Can I take a picture?" That's great. Or can I take a picture with you? That's awesome. Totally A+.
Yeah. You know, a way to like dial down the creep factor is to call the person bro.
I
Like-
disagree. That does
I
not
felt like- I
address
felt-
them by the names of the people they were dressed
Yeah,
as most of the
I
time.
found
Yo,
out.
Laura! It works.
Hey, I found
Don't
out.
do that.
No, I thought. What? I thought that was good.
Okay.
I actually prefer to be called like I would prefer if someone like yelled the name of my character and didn't physically touch me rather than a person coming up and tapping me. No offense, Kyle. Although you are like a gentle person and I would not be creeped out.
Yeah,
by
I tried
you.
to not
It's
most
like,
of the time.
The other option was to physically move in front of them to arrest their motion.
That
so
was I either had to just like just like pop up in front of them.
we
maybe.
appeared to be the only people who ever stood still,
Oh yeah, we did stand still for a while.
except for that one group of Harley Quinns and Joker, plus the guy who was with them, who like had secret conversations over in corners just like all the time. Maybe they were friends and talked about things, but that seems unlikely.
You remind me of a halfling.
But he's
I've gotten that before actually. You were not the
Because
first person to say that.
He's frequently like invited into assassin cults. It's kind of a hobbit thing. You don't have to tell me if you are, but please.
I don't remember who. Well, we got a comment on our YouTube channel saying that a lot of us could play hobbits really easily.
You also have the hair. It's all curly and, you know.
It's not. I keep it short. I'm gonna keep keeping it short.
Okay, but like obviously it curls.
I
Like
also learned recently that I happen to closely resemble. See, I have this weird half and half thing, and it depends on, I guess, who I'm interacting with and what they've seen. Some people think I look like a cartoon character, and then I'm like unassuming, I guess, and don't really seem threatening. Other people realize that I have a strong resemblance to actors who play sociopaths, and that backfires.
Which ones?
All of them.
You don't look
Dexter?
like Zachary Quinto to me.
Is it Michael
Maybe not
Cera?
him.
I think it's Michael Cera.
Has he ever actually played a sociopath, or were we all just waiting for that movie? I don't think it. Like,
It does seem kind of inevitable, right?
Has he ever not played a sociopath?
I mean,
He's
he's
very
got some kind of
concerned
problem.
about
I don't-
himself and his relationship to others.
He played in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That was a little bit of a dickish role, yeah.
Yeah.
But more so in the comic. He played it Michael Cera style.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when it's Michael Cera. You have to think about it for a little
He
bit to
does
realize,
actually
like,
impart a lot of flavor to his characters. It's just that character.
yeah.
Who I think I would find fairly annoying to interact with. Maybe that's the point. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think interacting with Michael Cera is supposed to be like a successful endeavor on the general depiction.
Well, maybe he'd be charming though.
Like-
If people keep putting him in movies.
The only his character exists so that people can get their point across to him without him having to respond, and that being amusing.
Michael Cera was that bird in that one movie.
What bird?
He was in Rio.
What
He was a
movie?
bird.
Oh God, why are you bringing up that movie?
It's a movie that existed. I think it's fair game.
I legitimately don't know.
Do we blacklist?
I was like, oh, there's something that he played.
Oh, I'm not
I
trying to
haven't
like. I'm not
slept
being like.
in a really long
I'm not
time.
being like. Oh God, Devlin.
You
Why
fell
did
asleep like
I did?
20 minutes ago.
I think you are really tired, Devlin, because I feel like your normal rate of talking has slowed down. It's like.
But he's a Furby and his batteries are low.
It's like.
Actually, that's terrifying. Haven't you ever seen that?
No.
But, like, they don't stop talking. Like,
Yeah.
if we're playing a game.
Oh my God. No, stop.
So
I wouldn't
unfortunately, we do not have an episode from last year which sucks because it would have been a fantastic episode because it was the last great Delilah attack.
Oh, God.
Also, we almost
star.
all died. Like,
I saw it
legitimately
too.
almost
We
all
finally
died.
got
Let's
one.
make a wish.
What? What happened?
A shooting star.
Oh,
Ian and I
what?
both saw
Seriously?
it. It's another sign of our love. One time that happened, one other time.
I'll take it, okay?
All right.
I
Well,
don't
no.
know why that was.
Before we...
It's a sign of our love.
No, sorry. I actually there's a long period of time when I wasn't sure if I
Let's not get into this
Okay,
radio
sorry.
right now. This
No,
is the wrong
this is
place.
So
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
last year we learned that Devlin was a Furby
But
because he
this
could
is
fall
a nice
asleep and
story.
wake up
We didn't
on a
actually learn
dime.
that until this year, but like we didn't parse the data, but yeah.
After the whole
Parse
escape from
the
Houston
data.
while Delilah trying to kill us, which I won't get into right now.
Also the weather, like after Delilah
Oh, right,
failed,
and then there was a
God
tornado.
stepped in.
I always forget about that part. But yeah, then we turn around,
We
Devlin's just
we
like
took
out.
shelter in the safe arms of Bucky's.
And then later we start talking about Devlin, and then he just responds, and we turn around like, wait, what? You were asleep. What are you doing? And then just for the rest of that evening, he would just like go to sleep, and then whenever we need him, we'd be like, Devlin, and just instantly like, yeah.
It's like that weird Amazon Echo product that never like made it off the shelves after that weird awkward commercial.
Yeah.
I guess people have them.
And then we hit a tornado on the way back.
It was just like a full-blown monsoon. It was like raining so hard,
I didn't actually see the tornado.
but like you could not see more than 8 inches in front of the car.
I remember we kept stopping and being like, we could probably make it a little bit further, and then we stopped and like, we could probably make it to Bucky's.
We
And-
see like a sign like Bucky's ahead.
And then
yes,
by this
next
point,
sign,
we actually are
8 miles.
Well, we're like in the store. It's so strong that we're moving at like 20 miles an hour,
Guys, we
maybe.
just summoned to Bucky's.
Oh yeah, we did.
I don't think
I think
that's
this
how
is
buildings
probably
work.
the correct Bucky's.
we could stop.
No, we don't not need to.
No, this
And
is
then-
the
Like
any
right
reason.
one.
salad.
The one we
Okay,
stopped at was on
fine.
like 290, I think.
This is 290. Oh my god, it's just like last time, but without the... Yeah, because that's that Walmart we thought about, but there was a Bucky's there.
It wasn't that one.
Okay.
It was a different
There
Buc-ee's.
are multiple
It was the one
Bucky's
with
for
the-
shelter along 290?
It was
Apparently.
the one with the giant parking lot.
We're
with-
not... This isn't helping.
It was one of the big. It was one of the monster
It was-
Buc-ee's.
yeah, it was-
Bucky's Super Center?
Yeah, it was one of the huge ones.
And yeah, I mean, it was literally like we could not see more than right in front of our car.
We were thinking maybe we should pull over and wait out the storm.
But it also seems kind of bad
we
to
kept
stop
thinking,
in a
but
road
Buc-ee's is
gutter
right.
in the rain.
Yeah.
There were actually like search helicopters going around too.
I think this is an embellishment. That wasn't... The time
I
you
don't
see that
remember
search
being able to
helicopters-
see search
helicopters.
helicopters.
No, you don't mix tornadoes, monsoon-style rain, and search helicopters.
Search helicopters come afterwards
I
after
don't
we've
know,
abandoned ourselves in a
Rex.
ditch.
But there was a yellow helicopter with the spotlight.
They come rescue us from the top of the Buc-ee's.
That was a Bucky's, Devlin.
But I don't
It didn't fly.
That was my response to that. In case you didn't get that, it was.
I don't know. It's a pretty convincing argument. I'll go with your story this time.
Guys, I can't believe we just saw a shooting
Maybe
star.
I dreamed.
Maybe it's a sign of our friendship.
Only between the people who saw it.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
don't
Get
like
your
you
own
guys.
shooting star.
that's so beautiful. I mean, how often do you see shooting stars?
I'm not sure I've ever
Fairly
seen one.
normal.
We just saw one. Like that was really wasn't a plane. It flickered out and then it
No.
flickered back.
There's the Perseid meteor storms that happen every year in August where you can see normally
Well,
up to
that's like
1
a
to 2.
shooting star storm or
Does
something.
it not count as like a free access weekend?
Well,
like
it is a free
to
access
play.
weekend.
Just check it out and see if you like it.
It's like that. It's like when you go to Compostela on the feast of Santiago de Compostela, so you can get all your sins absolved in the Middle Ages, and you don't have to go to purgatory anymore if you die right then. It's just
God,
like
you
that.
guys are so weird.
This is that is an amazing tourist like bureau. Tell you what, you come visit our city, no more sin.
That was why people
All
made
right.
pilgrimages to Santiago in the Middle Ages.
Hey, we're back here.
To Compostela.
Back where we had breakfast.
Elvira.
We have made it to this tiny little intersection with that clock.
Which one is this again?
This is Giddings.
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 Me and Rachel also drew art and got money for charity. Mine
Yeah.
actually sold. I'm really surprised with it. But yeah, Rachel drew like this. Rachel
so-
managed like in, how long was it? 2 hours?
It was about like we did it in like
It
an
was
hour.
like
Hour and a half.
40 fucking years. It was 40 dang years.
Yes, you already said, dude. You don't need to retroactively censor yourself.
You ever? I don't. There's like the one of the few hilarious parts I remember from the IT crowd is when there was like somebody controlling the censoring in the show. There was like a button they would push, and that by the end of the episode they kept messing up and pushing it just too late. Because it's British TV and people don't actually care, so they would like say the word and then you'd hear beep.
The funny thing is, people absolutely do care. Like they actually have a national watchdog agency that monitors all BBC like
Really?
production. Yeah, this is what kept getting Top Gear in trouble.
Oh.
Like private broadcasting networks, they're like, we don't care what he says. He makes us money. But no, because it's BBC, they're publicly accountable. It's
Anyway.
also why they can't actually advertise. They have to consistently talk about other products when they mention one. But it's like the watchdog organization gets complaints anytime anybody, frowns too hard or anything.
But yeah, Rachel drew and colored a cool picture, and somebody bought it for $50.
It was Target brand Santa Claus.
Yeah.
What was was the picture of a specific character? I don't remember.
I started drawing off Sailor Moon. I drew like an anime girl, and then I decided I wanted to be less anime. And so I just drew like a girl with flowy hair and flowers.
She was kind of Bonnie Lass style.
It was a cool little event. They just had a bunch of people drawing, and then other people would go around and bid on the drawings. And
It was
it went to
another really
The
excellent
Ronald
way that
McDonald House.
Yeah.
this
I
Comic
was-
Con managed to generate content by saying, "Hey, come here and give us content, and we
Yeah.
will provide ways for other people to monetize that."
Yeah, you actually were supposed to be. It was really invited artists though.
Yeah, it was actually really weird. Me and Rachel, it felt like we snuck into giving money to charity. It was a very strange combination of emotions.
I actually went when they were setting it up because it looked really fun, because it looked like they were going to do a figure drawing class, because if you've ever been to a figure drawing class, there's a naked dude in the middle or a woman, and then there's a bunch of easels around the edge, and that
Would
was
it
what
be
it
way
looked like.
cooler if it was actually just Deadpool?
That would have been amazing.
No, because everyone would have drawn Deadpool. Okay.
I think you missed the purpose of this exercise. To draw Deadpool.
Everyone did draw Deadpool anyways.
That would have
anyways,
been fantastic if they just had one of the Deadpools posing in the middle of the...
Completely naked, still mask on.
completely naked. That would have been better. Okay. Sorry.
But not allowed by convention rules, which we should state were
Boo, family
extremely
friendly. Just kidding.
reasonable, well stated, and had a thing against taking off shoes due to some horrific
What?
incident in the past. There was just signs everywhere, shoes on.
Probably
Also,
someone stepped on glass or
half the building was missing, and I think there's a connection there.
Yeah. Oh, but anyways, so back to the story. Yeah, I saw all the easels set up, and then I went and talked to a guy, and I was like, "Oh, can we draw? This looks fun." And because a bunch of the people over there with us were artists, actually, probably half the crowd actually of our group were artists, and they had tables too with all these supplies. And I was like, "This looks like." It looked like to me like the adult version of in preschool when they have those station tables with fun activities at each one. I was like, you go around to each one, it's like you draw a different character. It looks really fun, and I was like, yes. And
Like
so
Art Station Buffet.
yeah, it looked exactly like that because Texas Art Supply had brought a ton of supplies. Of course, this was for a charity auction, so of course they brought a ton of supplies.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes. And I came up to a guy and I was like, can I do this? Is this a thing that can any artist participate? And he's like, you have to be invited. And I was like, what? And I was like,
Who was it specifically? Was it the people who were selling stuff, the artists, the trade people, or?
It was the guy in the green shirt who came up to us and was
No, I
like,
meant the people who
wait.
were allowed.
Oh, you had to be invited. I don't know who was invited. I don't know if
I'm
it
sure
was
there's an application to invite
people
yourself.
people actually kept asking what kind of artist I was, specific terms within the convention, if I was competing for something or if I had a station or what.
Yeah.
I don't know, people kept asking specific stuff. I think there's one guy that watched me draw the whole time, and I think he was pretty disappointed at the end to find out I wasn't invited.
Really?
Yeah, he got bummed out a little. He was like, "Oh, you weren't invited." I was like, he was like, "Yeah,
I think
I'm
we
an
were
artist."
the only two that weren't actually invited. We
No,
just
there
Like
no,
take
there
up
were other
empty
people.
easels or something?
yeah, we just
There were a ton
forced
of
our way
easels,
in.
by the way. And I got permission from people to do it. I talked
Yeah, I mean,
to
they
the
let
staff.
us. They were like, well, it's for charity, so yeah, why not? But
they just said, the one guy who I talked to had said, yeah, if there's extra space, yeah, come on in half an hour from now, and we'll, make spots, or if there's extra spots, we'll let you do it. If you are a semi-professional artist, and I said, I am indeed a semi-professional artist. He's like, have you ever sold your art? And I'm like, yes, I have. So
I feel like you lived up to the expectation pretty well, though. Yours was at least on par with the rest.
yours was good, and it was on.
Mine was an illustration. It was okay.
Kyle,
Mine-
you literally art for a living.
Yeah, but I haven't actually just sat down and drawn stuff. Well, I mean, I did
What
the.
about that concept picture?
Yeah, I did that.
Here's
Yours was-
weekly updates.
Kyle, yours was beautiful. It was
course you
an
did.
Every piece of any sort of formatting.
Mine did not
structure
match up to the rest
or
of the drawings in that.
Anything that you've seen on any white lighting thing, Kyle has just drawn it. He's like, we need
I did not draw it within an hour and a half next to a bunch of other people who were way better at drawing than me.
I mean, is that a thing? Is there ranks of drawing? Is it like Inigo
Yeah.
Montoya and the Princess Bride? Can you gain wizard rank? drawing skill.
And there are
I
definitely
just feel
people
like
who
you
are
just
like better and
did it
worse.
differently, and
But-
you just did a sketchy version that you then abandoned, and somebody's like,
It's just not like
industrial style. That's what I'm looking for, and bought it.
ideal like wall art or anything. You couldn't really see it very well. It wasn't darkened in.
You're
or any
providing
such.
content for people to get something in return to give to
I
charity.
mean, I ended up getting money to charity. I just feel like whoever ended up buying it was probably disappointed that they had pledged this thing.
Like at the end, they were 3 pieces of art that they were really like. The announcer guy was trying his darndest to sell like only 3 pieces of art, and he said that for at least 45 minutes. So the
Yeah,
art
really, I
that
missed
people
that.
did not want did not get bought. I think they eventually got bought, but like
Yeah,
it was
before-
there was some wheedling involved.
It was weirdly nerve-wracking trying to like draw really quickly though.
It was really interesting seeing Kyle and I's different personalities play out in that format because we were both standing in an easel trying to speed draw because as I previously established, we
It's
started
not a
late.
court of law. We can.
Yeah, Rachel was mean.
Whoa, sorry God.
People walked up and talked to you a lot while you were trying to. I was actually really glad that they weren't doing that to me because I was super
Kyle,
focused.
they actually did talk to you and you didn't notice.
That's also possible.
And I
It
talked
was-
to
it
you
was
and you
a
didn't
perfect-
notice like 5 times and I repeated I like knew that you were focused in on your what you were doing and I
It
was
was a
not
perfect
offended.
example of like how locked in I get on something when I'm working on it.
Yeah, Kyle just was totally like focused, and he drew like he picked up like a red mechanical pencil, and drew like a what I thought was a very interesting and beautiful like architectural drawing of like a stylized man.
Did it have like Kyle legs?
It did,
Okay.
and there was a lot of structural marks that were very geometrically precise and marked out like the ratios of the body nicely.
That's the way I learned actually from Joe specifically, from like starting in kindergarten to draw everything.
A
Really?
person is 5 heads tall.
Did you do the 5 heads thing?
Yeah, it wasn't even so much that. It was more just like make sure you understand like how your thing is built before you start adding in all the detail.
So that's probably why you can draw so precisely because I'm very much a scribbly like artist.
I'll give myself that. I can draw very precisely. Like that is a decent
Yeah.
description.
So like, okay, you're just like Mark Brandanowitz from Parks and Rec, everybody's favorite character.
What? What?
I
Okay.
don't. That just sounded randomly insulting for no reason. I'm not sure where that came from.
I've just heard a lot of people hate him, and I kind of liked him, and I feel sad now.
What's wrong with Mark? Okay,
I don't know,
it's
but
okay.
all he did-
He's boring. It didn't matter.
He made architectural plans, and I really like architectural
No one
drafting.
hated him for his career.
Like, I feel like if there's any kind of like
Leslie thought he was
illustrating
cool.
I could do, it would be architectural drafting.
I hope that the person who bought it at least knew who the character was by some random coincidence. I drew.
Elizabeth did.
Yeah, she did. That was interesting. I drew a Percival from Critical Role. If anybody listening also listens to that, just because I've been binging through that whole thing at work because I need things to listen to. I only have 2 weeks left, so I'm trying to catch up. They're still doing it. Like I'm making progress through their cultural references that they make.
So I thought it was a genre appropriate piece of art, considering that a lot of it was like fandom based.
Yeah.
If you went around and looked at the drawings, very few people did like their own. Well, maybe a couple people did like their own characters, I guess. Like I saw one guy who had a tree stump in here, had wood burned earthworm Jim or whatever his face is.
I saw one of the wood. I didn't see that one, but I saw another woodburn one. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, that was cool.
A lot of people were above my level there, and I think that if I had started earlier, I could have produced a very different piece with the drawing that I had established. But I actually inked and colored the drawing in about 15 minutes or something like that.
It just takes a while for me. Like the concept art that you were talking about, Ian, was like that. That took me like a good solid hour and a half for each one of those characters in that picture.
But it's also like, I mean, the result is like graphic design, like illustrations of people that, like, it is a like fully functional piece of art that is, I don't know, it like bridges between graphic design and art in a way that like.
I digitally
and
colored
you know
it.
CSS, which isn't fair. You make CSS work for you.
Sure. I mean, that's a different thing entirely.
But like, you shouldn't have both of those skills. Like, it should be divided amongst 2 people for fairness. You should be able to draw a thing and get the computer to put it where you want on the page.
Oh my god.
See?
You need to teach me that.
No, it doesn't. No, sorry. You have to have like a sorcerer.
I'm making games now. That's like that, but a little bit more
Oh yeah, I need to
advanced.
play that your game.
Oh yeah, you didn't try it yet.
I haven't.
Here, you know what? You can try it real quick, because nobody, I haven't been wanting to show it on our videos just because it's in progress, and I don't know, that seems like a
Does it
bad
have, like,
idea
a
somehow.
man in it now?
Huh?
Oh, well, just I'll see.
I was gonna say you can just like talk about it because
Oh, okay.
nobody can actually see
I'll
it.
play it.
So the game I'm working on, because very few people will listen to this, because this is gonna go up on our second channel, which almost nobody actually goes
The
to.
people who watch it are stealing the IP right now, registering it.
But the game I'm working on,
Future Flappy Bird here.
it's called Action Dive, and you play an action hero jumping off of something really high, and you have to dodge stuff on the way down.
Dude, Silicon Valley got me
So-
paranoid. Don't share that, Kyle. Oh my
It's-
god. Your company.
Yeah, they got Door Monster logo.
Oh god.
So you
These,
think
who are these people?
those are the two
One of them is
hero
obviously
characters.
JP.
I was gonna say, because this is JP, and I don't know who the other person is.
It is
It's
a
like
male and
JP's
female
brother.
iteration of the exact same human
Oh,
being.
it's just girl JP. I actually thought that was a boy too.
They're very
going?
specifically drawn in such a way that I do not have
How
to
do I
animate
control
flappy
it?
bits.
How do I control
You
it?
tilt the phone,
Oh god. Oh, I suck at this.
and then you push down on the screen anywhere to dive.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah, it's not something that you would want to do in
Ah.
real life.
And you have to not.
Ah.
If there were lots of boxes floating in midair while you jumped off of a tall object, hoping to not die at the end,
Ideally, you adjust your speed as you go and dive
Wait,
in
can I hit
bursts.
the boxes or is that
that
bad?
takes points away.
Oh god, I'm so bad.
The boxes.
I don't get the strategy, even though you just explained it. Also, I'm not good at these things.
You don't have to drag. You
First
just hold
try.
down.
Just press.
Oh. Okay, that's much easier.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm better at this now.
I'm thinking.
The cubes are too big.
Yeah, so right now she's playing
I
a
suck
version
at
of this game
this.
that is entirely made of white cubes
This
on a
is too
black
hard.
background. I'm hoping that everybody's first impression of the game goes a little bit clearer when there are graphics and it's more obvious what's going on the screen. Because right now it just looks like a bunch of boxes are flying at you from the bottom of the screen rather than you're falling.
Also, I feel like there should be like angry noises when I hit the boxes.
Tell
or
me,
some,
explosions.
yeah, or explosions or some cute. I mean, like obviously this is not like your fully developed game, but like in furlough versions, like maybe you should have that thing because I'm like feeling like I'm supposed to be hitting the. I feel like I almost should be building a structure out of the cubes that I'm
It'd be
hitting.
great if you had like a limited time use, like maybe 3 times per dive, like ability to punch through boxes. It's like
Kind of like
action
Cube
punch.
Runner,
I don't know, I kind of
vertical.
like I like keeping the controls. My whole idea was keeping it on the player's end very, very simple control wise. And then, wow, you actually ended with 0 points. I haven't seen anyone do that since I implemented the new point
Hey.
system.
Ouch.
Or maybe like, or just for like the first half second of your dive, you can punch through a box. Just like super armor for like the beginning of your speed up.
Maybe. I need to figure out a
I
way.
just want to punch through falling boxes while they explode behind me as I dive like an action star, Kyle.
I need to figure out a way to immediately have other people like have the same grasp the same understanding of like how this game is supposed to work as I do, because I can zip around those things pretty easy,
How do you do that?
and so I have to like create that mindset in the person who's about to play the
To
game
be fair,
somehow.
you also actually know the numerical values and the weight of the tilting.
I feel like when I played that, I felt like the intuitive thing that I was supposed to do was land on the boxes and make them create little structures, like
That's
I said.
just because you didn't listen to what Kyle said.
I knew that was not what I was supposed to do, but that was what my brain wanted me to do.
That's what I'm saying. I think when you have like stuff rushing by in the background and it's very obvious that you are the one moving and not the boxes moving at you, then it will hopefully be a little bit easier to get what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
For the record, I had no problem perceiving the falling.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I
like
can
it's
see
easy
how
for
it
me
would be
because
that
I can, like in my head, I can already see everything that's actually supposed to be on
I
screen.
didn't have trouble perceiving falling. I just perceived that I was gathering boxes as I was falling, and the more boxes I gathered, it was a better thing. But that was like what I know that wasn't what was supposed to be happening, but that was like what I wanted.
There will also be
Because
more
they're little
error
square
feedback.
boxes.
Like when you hit boxes, the character will look like they got hit by something. So
Also, right now there are little stars that like land on the boxes, and you want the stars. So it's like, oh, I'll hit the box for the star. You shouldn't do that though. That's bad. The stars are tricky.
Also, Kyle, have you played Cube Runner? Because it's like a vertical version of Cube Runner to some extent.
no, I haven't. I'm sure it's similar to something that already exists. There wasn't really a way to like research it, but
I've seen this mini game in a few different, places and things.
I wonder
Yeah.
if I can download
Like I said, there's a
that.
Metal Gear version where you do the exact same thing, but going upward because,
Except yours will be better than Cube Runner, probably. I wonder if they still have Cube Runner on the App Store.
as long as I can, like, my goals are make the actual action fun, and then layer on just some of the kind of Newgrounds brand cartoony charm on top of that.
Can we get an unlockable Rodriguez?
That might be a nice like secret thing to add somewhere.
With secret box punching power.
And then once I have everything established, I'm going to add a dive harder mode, which just generates more boxes more frequently or something.
Good day to dive hard.
Yeah. And then when you're done, it shows you like movie reviews based. I'm like doing the whole thing as like an action movie sort of thing. So it's like there's like a poster at the beginning, and then you get movie reviews based on how you did.
This entire procedure violently and brutally totally misses the important role that stunt workers play in film production, which is to do this kind of stuff, not die, and make it look good, while keeping the main actor functional and in work.
And this is kind of my test game because I've never done it before. After this, I have the other one that I've mentioned to you guys. And then hopefully VR games after a while.
Wow, that's very ambitious, dude.
I am going to say that does seem a teensy bit like a one thing led to another style. So there's some floating boxes, and eventually we'll just have you walking around in VR.
Yeah.
But I guess that happens at some point. It just took, 10,000 years of human development.
I mean, by the time I get to making VR games, VR will probably be a lot more advanced as well.
So you have that to look forward to when you're old.
I'm thinking this happens like in 3 years.
When you're old, like I said, when you're old.
We'll be 28 then. Kids will laugh at me.
Well, we probably talked ourselves out of this podcast by now.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's gone at this point. It's probably very long.
Devlin.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Oh, am I supposed to say things now?
Podcast is fun.
I think we're ending the podcast. Thanks for joining us for an interdimensional road trip.
Hey.
We're going to drive the rest of the way home and hopefully not die so we can upload it and you can listen to it.
I plan on not dying
Please
for
send
other
help.
reasons.
I don't know these people.
If you find this recording, something went horribly wrong.
I hope as you look at it, you'll see a car crash, mangled bodies, and this recorder sitting on top of the car, just cracked screen. Goodbye, see.
What?
Stupid brand of recorder. Although it's like,
I don't know if you've ever referenced that.
Oh, that
looks
thing.
more advanced each iteration. It has this stupid little LCD screen that has enough room for more words. But every time, when you turn it off, it's just 2 words, one on top of the other. Goodbye and see you. Goodbye, see you.
I thought see you was still 2 separate words.
Probably, I don't care.
There's definitely no punctuation. It's just goodbye, see you. It's every version of this Zoom recorder we've owned that has been programmed in.
An audio recorder. It doesn't have eyes.
They did it on
Goodbye,
purpose.
Talk to you later.
They had to do it again. Like they did it once.
Okay, but I've met coders. They just imported that same exact. That was just conservation of code. Unless they actually just are doing it because they know it bothers people.
So anyway, goodbye,
Evil,
see you.
stupid.